Artificial ingredients and GMOs are not kosher. What makes food kosher? The dietary laws set forth in the Torah, Leviticus 11. The kashrut authorities, agencies around the world adhere to these principles, and I feel for the most part, they are pretty thorough. But there are a couple of areas that I feel need a completely new set of rules. One area I will focus on here is the aspect of artificial chemicals and GMOs in our food. From what research I can find, the only concern the kashrut authorities, agencies have is if anything originates or comes in contact with non-kosher animals or mixed with meat or milk. So artificial man-made products can be kosher as long as they meet the above requirements. But let's take a wider look at the effects that artificial chemicals have had on our health. More and more people are showing signs of food allergies and intolerances. Children are being diagnosed with ADD, ADHD and immunological disorders due in large part to consumption of artificial food coloring and preservatives. Here in Israel, cancer is the leading cause of death. Cancer is caused by a toxic overload in our systems. If Israel is the most kosher place in the world, why are we no more healthy than the rest of the world? We eat a lot of salads here, but they are loaded with pesticides. So what are we missing? What can we learn from this? We hear over and over in the Tanakh that we are not to put faith in man for our protection and salvation, but only in God. Anything that is from man is inherently impure and less than what comes from God. God created all of what we need to survive and thrive. We need nothing else. The artificial man-made ingredients are meant to improve unnatural food, but mostly in a selfish commercial way solely to make more money. Artificial flavors are meant to trick your brain into wanting more so you eat and buy more. GMOs, genetically modified organisms, were meant to make crops less pest and disease resistant, but it's been shown to not be completely metabolized in the body like many other artificial ingredients, leading to health problems that increase as we increase our consumption. The mantra should be, if it's not natural, it's not kosher, besides being from a clean animal. There's a more mystical reason for this. It's often said that you are what you eat. This is true. What you put into your body doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind. When you eat only clean, natural and organic food, you are consuming the holy creation of God. It inherently brings you closer to God's essence and in tune with His will of how to live. In contrast, eating things made from man inherently takes you away from God's essence, which in turn creates strife and confusion and disease. I think there's enough proof out there to see that GMOs are considered kosher. I didn't actually know how GMOs were viewed by the kashrut authorities, agencies until researching for this article. Again, I was shocked by their reasoning. Despite explicit prohibitions in the Torah, Leviticus 19 verse 19, both the kashrut authorities, agencies in the US and in Israel deem GMOs to be safe, albeit for different reasons. The OU in America claims the prohibitions listed in the Torah are only specific to what it states, and in Israel, under the chief rabbinate, they claim that because it only constitutes a minuscule amount, it doesn't count. Another reason given is that those biblical laws only apply in the land of Israel, so the importing of GMO ingredients to be used in making products here in Israel is okay along with imported products containing GMOs. And Israel does not require products to label ingredients as GMO. So while Israel itself does not grow GMO crops, Israelis are still consuming it in US imported products and unknowingly in Israeli products. Another case is GMO salmon. In 2017, a US company is now able to sell its GMO salmon in Canada. It adds genes from an eel to the salmon to make it grow twice as fast, hence saving money for the manufacturer. It is not required to be labeled as GMO. The OU has deemed this as kosher. They give the same reasoning as above, as it falls under bichul too small of an amount. They also say since the end product still has fins and scales, it's kosher. If all this doesn't blatantly show how our religious leaders have seriously gone astray, I don't know what does. But wait, there's more. Cinnamix is kosher. Cinnamix is a US company that creates artificial flavor enhancers. They're called enhancers because they don't really have a taste of their own, but they allow companies to use less sweeteners, both natural and artificial, or sodium to claim their products as healthier. You won't find Cinnamix on any ingredient labels because the amount they use is small enough that it is just listed under the generic term artificial flavors. What people don't know is that in order for Cinnamix to come up with these new enhancers, they conduct research using HEK 293. HEK stands for human embryonic kidney. These are cells taken from one aborted fetus in the 1970s. So let's be clear, the cells are not actually in the Cinnamix, but used in the research process. Still, this should raise serious ethics questions among kashrut authorities. But this is my whole point of this video. That the kashrut industry seems to be totally devoid of ethics. The whole foundation of Judaism is based on ethics and morals. You cannot separate one aspect of Torah from ethical reasoning and call yourselves religious authorities. These rabbis are responsible for the health of millions of Jews worldwide based on our trust in their decisions. They should be ashamed of themselves for causing untold numbers of health problems due to consuming these unsafe and unhealthy ingredients. If we are ever going to be a light unto the nations, the kashrut authorities should take a stand on these issues. Then we can hasten the arrival of the Messiah. What does the future hold? It's not looking good, folks. Now actual lab-grown meat is becoming reality. This is grown using muscle stem cells of an animal instead of raising an actual animal. From what I've been reading, it wouldn't be surprising if this also is considered kosher, even if pig cells were added. Friends, we are on a troubling course. Things can only change if there is outcry and protest within the religious community. Rabbis must speak out against this ever-increasing trend of man-created food and now even man-created animals. In Israel, there are people who want to privatize kashrut certification outside of the chief rabbinate's control, but this is mainly in order to make certification less strict. I think it actually needs to be more strict. If you feel the same way, please bring this up to your local rabbi, and/or kashrut agency. The only alternative is to start consuming more all-natural, non-GMO and organic foods.